Hey, what is up, guys? It's Guiltspire here, and welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We are here today with Season 1, Round 1, Division 2, How Do We Get Here versus Immortal Alliance. So, wicked excited to be here once again. Third match of the day for me coasting as I took a back seat last round and played some Survivor and Killer. And I am joined once again by Gannicus. How you doing, Gannicus?
I am doing fantastic. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's good to be back and get the action started quickly.
No, I appreciate it. I'm very happy to have you here again. There actually was a last-minute change, so I appreciate being as flexible as you were to jump back in. To be fair, you did tell me at the end of the last one, anything comes up, let me know. I was like, oh, perfect timing for that.
Absolutely. I can't be saying that and then backing out,
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But with that being said, very excited for both these teams. So for those who are not aware, Immortal Alliance is a offshoot of Undying Alliance, our former champions. While on the other hand, How Do We Get Here is actually a team that was here in Season 0, and I do love them with all my heart because they are kind of my community team. When I first created Champions of the Fog, they're like, hey, we want to participate. I'm like, okay, you guys sure? Like, it's going to be competitive play. You guys see me playing Vigo's Corner, going abso-freaking-lutely. And so part of my community decided to join Champions. And so they're still relatively new to comp, but have some comp veterans on their team. So very excited to see how they've improved from Season 0 to now, as I know they have been practicing with some other teams as well to really build up their skill. But with that being said, what are you excited for here? We've seen a lot of good play. We've seen a lot of S-tier, A-tier killers. Some, a little off-the-wall B and below killers with the Bubbas and Tricksters. What are you thinking for this match? Obviously, Immortal Alliance, being an offshoot of Undying Alliance, understands what the skill ceiling for How Do We Get Here was last season. Do you think they're going to underestimate How Do We Get Here, or do you think they're going to respect and go in with a S or A tier out of the bat?
That's going to be that's the $1 million question, right? Do you respect your opponent, or do you feel like you have enough confidence in a killer who's not S tier to just come out and hands down get you the 4K? I do feel like your first game you have to go in there and respect it, and that doesn't mean you throwing out a nurse or something like that. Maybe I don't know though. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm the believer that you set the pace. If your team's killing the first time around on the first game, you want to set the pace, and you want to make sure that the other team knows that you're not messing around. So I do think they come out hard.
110%, and I will say so. How Do We Get Here is killing first, so Hammy's going to be setting the tone for this match, as we have said many times before. The first killer match is one setting the tone, setting the pace for the entire match. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they bring to the table. I know that they previously had really focused in on the Hillbilly, which we have, I don't think seen, or maybe seen once so far this season. So it's very possible that we end up with a Hillbilly here, which could be interesting. As we do know of Wrecker's Yard, there's a lot of pallets to work through, so low pro change could come into play here and there. So who knows? I'd be excited to see a Hillbilly. What about you?
Absolutely, dude. If we see Hillbilly, holy smokes, I will jump for joy. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm a sucker for your Bubba and Hillbilly, 1000%. So if they show up, big fan.
That's fair. No, I'd be really psyched for it. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, they're still newer to the comp scene, so, if anyone here is, I've seen Jazz and a few others saying, hey, we're willing to coach your team, so on and so forth. I love seeing that type of stuff, and I want to see more of it, especially as we get newer teams coming into the league, because I want Champions of the Fog to be the breeding ground for new comp teams, because I've heard from a lot of people that certain leagues are really unapproachable because you have those large teams like Oracle playing. It's like, well, we already know we're going to get stumped by Oracle, so why even bother, right? But that's what I want from COTF, is to say, hey, you know, we have veteran teams, but we also have new teams. Let's breed, you know, that sense of competitiveness within Dead by Daylight and really start to develop the next generation of players as the game goes on to its 6th year now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that right there is why people should keep making teams. And if you're out there, you know, thinking, am I good enough to be competitive? Try it. You know, you're no one. I don't think is going to say yes or no until you try it, and no one's going to say, well, you're not good enough. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really cool that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, no, 110%. You know, I don't know about you, but outside of Dead by Daylight, I've been part of a ton of different comp communities. And so it's one of those things that I've seen how comp can die and how it can influence the game when it does die. I was part of Evolve before that fizzled out. Loved Evolve to death. Played game battles, if anyone remembers game battles. And unfortunately, because of developer choice for Wraith, anyone remembers Evolve, Wraith was a freaking OP freaking monster, and it turned comp on its head really quickly, and just, it fizzled out. Game fizzled out not too long after, and it was a sad day, and I want to see Dead by Daylight continue on. We're already 5 years in. Let's go for the big 10-0.
Yeah, can you imagine? That would be amazing, and I think that's just how you do it.
Yeah.
You build great leagues, you do your thing, and Champions of the Fog is here to stay.
100%. I mean, hell, look at freaking, Smash Ultimate, Wii game at this point, still going strong with unsupported comp. Like, it's ridiculous when you think of how huge that type of community is. It's because of the competitive community keeping people interested and getting more people back into the game over time. And so, you know, if we can do the similar thing here with Champions of the Fog, with Dead by Esports, with Vigo's Courts, and all the other leagues and tournaments going on, I think that's really a great thing. So, really excited. By C, Prelaw has unmuted. You have any news for us?
Builds are fine, and I was just giving the that Nia just a chance to switch since they just changed from a Fang.
Gotcha.
And here we go.
All right, just making sure that we are on the right map, and we're going to be jumping right on over for the first trial of Round 1, Division 1. How do we get here versus Immortal Alliance? I'm wicked excited to see what comes out of both these teams. I have not seen Immortal Alliance play. I've seen a bit of How Do We Get Here, but very excited to see what they bring to the table now that they've had time to practice. So I'm very excited, and hopefully y'all are too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what these survivors got. You know, we kind of know Killer, how they set the pace, how they do all that. You know, they're going to come out strong. But can the survivors handle that pressure? And can they use it to their advantage? It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also going to be interesting to see what How Do We Get Here brings as far as Killer's side is concerned. I know that they don't have a lot of what I refer to as specialists. You know, you see the specialists that really focus in on Nurse, focus on Spirit, Blight, what have you. And then you kind of have the jack of all trades like myself that can kind of run in, go, okay, well, let's play Freddy on this map. Let's play Bubba on this map. So it's going to be interesting to see what Hammy brings to the table. I know from watching and talking with them in my community that they're very big on Legion, very big on Billy. And so those are not killers that you normally see in comp, but I would love to see what they're able to do here in that scenario, and if IA is going to be able to live up to the pressure that Hammy's going to bring.
Well, we're about to see. This is going to be awesome. If they bring Legion out, that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't see a lot of Legion in comp. It would be really cool to see that out.
Oh, absolutely. Funny thing is, Legion was actually my first comp killer, or the first killer that I used in comp against frickin' CDM. I actually was doing tryouts for Fortnite's One Lockers at the time, and they were like, oh yeah, you're just gonna play a scrim against another comp team. I'm like, okay. And then I found out CDM, formerly Bubba's Bullies, and I was like, oh, I brought Legion. To be fair,
oh my goodness,
didn't do horribly, but it was like, you could have warned me just a little.
Yeah, just give me a little bit of a warning. I'm so sorry.
It was a good introduction, though. A good introduction. Really changed my frame of mind from that pubs mindset to comp mindset, which I think is really the biggest hurdle that a lot of people have to get over. you know, when they go from playing in pubs to comp, it's just such a different change of pace. And we saw like a great example of that, if you ever have not already, the True versus Oracle match. Like that's a prime example of pub mindset versus comp mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different beast, you know, and that's why I tell everybody, you've seen pubs everywhere. If you see it on Twitch, that's pubs. But if you want to see some insane, just different style of play, you know, Dead by Daylight competitive streams are insane. You just learn stuff that you've never seen before, and it just blows your mind.
Oh, absolutely freaking literally. Especially when like some of those specialist skills like Death Slinger or Huntress, you just know some insane spots. Like, I haven't even seen like Coconut or Ralph use those before.
Oh yeah, Death Slinger. I love watching Death Slinger competitive play. It's beautiful.
Absolutely, but it looks like we are good to go and jumping right on in. And let's take a look-see, and we see a Legion here playing. So excited to see what exactly was the thought process here with Legion, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man, if you're trying to get Legion on, a lot of hits, a lot of M1s, a lot of just pressure. That's your go-to right now, is just pressure and get as many kills as you can as quickly as possible. We see a little bit of corrupt, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think what's also going to be interesting to see here is how they're going to use the Feral Frenzy. Little cheeky play there by the Feng Min, trying to do some Legion tech. For those who don't know, when Legion vaults with Feral Frenzy, they actually vault further out, much like a Survivor, meaning that you can actually get underneath them very easily for that window play. Surprising, though, to see a Pallet stun out of Feral Frenzy. For those who also don't know, the fatigue time out of Feral Frenzy is actually longer than the stun time from a Pallet.
Absolutely. That was a little bit surprising. This is going to be an interesting little chase here. If Legion can get this person down, they have a great start right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But we do hear, you know, someone on this gen, and Legion does too, opting to go for the hit here. And we did see Disco off in the background as well. Could be kind of interesting to see how they play this, and if they are really able to interrupt with now 3 Feral Frenzies in a row, and one of them currently broken with potentially Forced Penance.
Yeah, this is a good little chase we got going on, and honestly, Gil, what would you do at this moment? You got everybody hurt, which is an awesome start. It's just about choosing your target for me.
Yeah, that's the biggest question, right? And that's really what's going to come down to whether or not Hammy's going to be able to capitalize off this momentum is, hey, am I going to be able to get it down here? And who is the down I want to get? They are able to get Nia down. We see Disco on that gen from earlier, which was pretty well progressed, so they are going to get that generator. So gen for a hook, not a bad start. Corrupt Invention out, however. And as we've seen many times before on this map, we're going to be going to the basement.
Absolutely, especially with that generator right there in the basement. It basically gives you a little bit of a 2-for-1 special that you kind of can just roam around it. Like the survivors right now, their best play is to just reset and hope that they can keep the generators resetting. So we'll see what happens next. Oh, nice flashlight. Nice flashlight,
but like I said a few matches ago, any killer worth their salt, if a good headset's going to be able to just listen in on that survivor over the pallet and just say, that really doesn't matter. And we saw exactly that here.
That's the thing, is like, I remember I used to play Dead by Daylight in I guess you could say like a $30 headset, and then I got a nice little headset, and I realized how much more Dead by Daylight is a sound game over anything.
Oh, 100%. Like, if you can differentiate the sound between footsteps in grass versus footsteps on wood, like, you can gain so much important information off these survivors, and you just wouldn't know it otherwise.
Oh my goodness, and yeah, this is right here. Ooh, they're in a little bit of trouble. It's a little bit of stressful situation right now, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing pretty well, all things considered, keeping people injured, keeping them mending, especially if Ruin's still up. I think that's the most important part of this all, is that because of that 12-second mend, or 8 seconds if someone's helping you, which is a collective 16 seconds off a gen, you know, you put yourself into a really weak position because Ruin has 12 seconds to regress a gen now, right? So really good stuff in that regard, and really good pressure from Hammy here.
And I love this hook right here. We talked about this last time. The hill hook is beautiful because now you can control a little bit more area. You see where the survivors are going for. Just a little bit more vision than you had like in the basement, which the basement right now is awesome, but the hill hook is chef's kiss.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as much as I love Legion, Basement and Legion just doesn't really work out too well. You can't really capitalize it as much as a Bubba or a Huntress, right? So I think put him on Hill Hook here, where they're able to keep an eye on it from afar, is not a bad idea, but Discordance is popping in the background, and I have to make a choice. Do I pressure the hook, where there's 30 seconds left until death, or do I go for the Disco? And they have to go for Disco and end up in a pretty good chase here.
Yeah, being in the and they go down. Being in the same like area as the hill hook now gives you that slug, and you can really kill confirm right here. You know,
yeah, I mean, I think
this
is a great play, and I think this is a great example of Hammy really improving from what they once were, because I think, you know, watching Hammy play prior, I don't think that would have been a choice they would have made. They would have probably gone for the pickup and called it a day, but in this case, that was the right move. 30 seconds left, might as well sit on it. You know, at most, they get maybe a gen, maybe half a gen, right, during that time.
Absolutely. I mean, you basically cut the battlefield in half, right? You have one person slug, one person on hook. You just wait for that person to get in. You have a little bit more scenarios, right? But what's going to happen? One person might go for the save? Absolutely not. Not in this type of environment. They're going to try to keep doing generators, and your day's good. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, the only thing that I would have said on this build, if I'm looking at it, you know, we know Force Penance is in play. We saw Corrupted Adventure. We've seen Disco. We've seen Ruin. And Claudette, you hurt my soul. When I see anyone pallet camp, it hurts me so much.
Me too. It hurts my feelings, actually.
Yeah,
oh,
one thing I can always say, and I say it every time I pull it off in pubs, I'll do the red light mind game trick on, you know, pallet tiles every day, all day long. And let's go, here's a message to all survivors. Stop pallet camping.
Yo, pallet camping, it never works out to your advantage, except for that one.
There's two types of pallet camps. There's that type of pallet camp where you have the position to take a hit and you'll still be fine. And then where we saw Claudette, who just dropped the pallet way too late because she wanted to stun, and it honestly just cost her in the long run.
Yeah, and this is... do you feel like you would have slugged right there?
Oh, 110%.
Yeah, me too. I think that I would have used her as a slug.
I would use her for slug for two reasons. A, because I see a broken stats effect, and broken stats effects, I don't know about anyone else, but I've been burned by it too many times. A broken stats effect makes me scared. I'm always scared of DS for that time, so I'm going, if you have broken stats effect off of Deliverance, I'm not touching you until that is gone. Absolutely.
It's always a scary situation. This is a good play, though. I know I would have used her as a slug, but keeping the servers here makes a lot of sense because these pallets are down. I mean, there's not a lot of safe spots right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And right now, I think Hammy is once again having that same thought process as before. Hey, Rune's been up, the gens have been regressing. At most, they get one gen after 40 seconds. You know, I'm just going to sit here, confirm kill, and I think we're good to go. And I think this is really just a really smart heads-up play by them.
Absolutely. If you confirm this kill, it turns into 2v1, and I guess Legion, you're not going to win much of those.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, I think that they may have fallen underneath a little bit of pressure here and went, okay, let's use Fellow Friends. It's like, well, great idea in theory. At execution, though, unless you're able to interrupt the unhook and then hit with Frenzy, you're not really going to be able to do all too much there.
Yeah, I big time. It kind of a little bit of a waste of Feral Frenzy, because a normal M1 could have done the same thing.
Yeah, I will say, though, and this is kind of something interesting, as we are seeing Force Penance, which I would have personally have reset with Thanatophobia. We are looking at Force Penance, though. Two people are broken where they cannot heal, so, I mean, it's arguably better than Sloppy Butcher in this case.
This is really, honestly, one of the cool things about your Force Penance plays is the fact that it's giving them, they have to stay this way. You know, they have to stay broken.
So what's your opinion on that? You know, if you're a Twins, if you're a Legion, are you bringing Force Penance or are you bringing Sloppy Butcher?
I think competitive. I think Force Penance makes a lot more sense. I like Sloppy, but I feel like Force Penance gives me a little bit more value. I don't know. What about you?
I've seen more and more comp play now with Force Penance, and I'm kind of veering that way. My biggest thing is going into Season 2, obviously that's like 8 weeks out now. I'm kind of curious to see where Scourge Hook then lands, whether Force Penance will still outshine Scourge Hook with that 9% penalty off of the unhook.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome to see because I think that perk can be a game changer in the comp.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly every single killer that I previously used Sloppy Butcher is just going to be using Force Penance. And honestly, Legion with the right build, like Thanatophobia, Scourge Hook, Disco, and Ruin, might be just basically the new Forever Legion. You know, screw Forever Freddy, now you have Forever Legion.
Well, it's beautiful to see. One of the things that I've always loved is Ruin on Legion. You know, like that's such a good play because it's dirty. You have a Legion that pressures everybody around them. It's just a beautiful perk. So to add Force Pendants to that and you know, add Disco to that, it just makes it for a rough day for survivors.
No, 110%. And I mean, at the end of the day, Force Pendants put in some good work here on this match. So maybe you have to take a look at Force Pendants on Legion. I might have to reconsider.
I'm gonna try it out too. I really am. This game has turned the wheels for me in my head, and you're looking at this right now, kind of a masterpiece of a game that they've been giving us. And right now, it's just a Hatch versus me game.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they're suiciding outright now, so looks like they're gonna try and go for that unhook. But it appears a little bit too late, and that will result in the 4K for Hammy. So amazing job here, and Legion, a killer that is not really looked at all too much, really coming out strong here for the first killer match.
Absolutely, this is one of those games you love to see, right? Where that killer that is not looked at as an A-tier killer, S-tier, whatever, comes out and really just shows dominance, and it's just beautiful to see.
100%. Well, with that being said, final score for that match, we're looking at IA or Immortal Alliance at 9 points with 3 gens, and the Legion and How Do We Get Here at 46 points. So, as he said, time and time again, that first killer match really setting the tone, and How Do We Get Here setting the tone for this match right here.
Yeah, honestly, to come out and play Legion is a gutsy call. And now to come out and get the points that they got with Legion, it sets them up for a beautiful Survivor game. And now you kind of put a lot of pressure into the next killer, because now you have to pick it up, right? You have to. You can't. Maybe you were gonna say, hey, maybe I was gonna play a Billy, maybe I wasn't gonna play a Bubba. Now you don't really have a lot of choices.
No, 110%. It's kind of like we were talking about, right? You know, don't underestimate your opponent until you've seen them play. If anything, you want to overestimate them and, you know, really make sure you're applying that pressure.
Yeah, and this is just one game. So if you are killing right now for your team and you're down, hey, it's okay, right? Now it's your turn to get the pressure back on, to get the momentum back to your team, and just really take back that from that first game. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we are going to be swapping over to Immortal Alliance killing on Wrecker's Yard. So just waiting on them to send out their killers, and we should be good to go. Overall, you know, I think that if you're IA, you know, obviously, How Do We Get Here brought Legion, but had a really good showing. How do you respond now? You go, well, we just got wrecked by Legion, what's arguably a D-tier killer. Do you bring out Nurse? Do you bring out Spirit? Like, do you respond to that with an S-tier in turn? You know, what are your thoughts there overall?
There's two ways you can do this. One, you can match like for like, right? So you can go, hey, we'll bring out our Legion and see what it can do. But you set yourself up for failure. You know, could your Legion do this? Absolutely. Could your Legion 4K? Absolutely. But that right there is more of like a meme where it's like, hey, we're gonna match your killer for killer. I just go for the throw, you know, and just say, hey, I'll bring my S tier and kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's necessary. We saw that with the match that I went up against with Sample Dex versus Regicide, and we brought Plague and Fredboy, and we saw, you know, Copy's Nurse go up against, as well as, why am I blanking out, Wraith. Yeah, we saw Wraith, we saw Nurse, we saw Freddy and Plague, so kind of a mismatch of A and B tier here and there, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, when you're down and out, I think bringing out the S tier is kind of the better bet.
Absolutely. If you're down, you got to get composure back. You gotta set the stage again for a third awesome game. Because the last thing you want to do is go up in your third game and just be down. Like,
yep.
You know, 20, 30 points. You gotta set the pace. And I think this is where you bring out the heavy guns and you say, you know what, good first game. We got you this game. You know, and we'll take it to a third, and we'll make sure that this is a close, tight game. But the last thing you want to do is lose composure. It's just one game. Take it one game and come back hard.
Yep, exactly. And just letting you know, right now we're still waiting on Immortal Alliance's killer. I believe that it's going to be Lee. Lii, who is our Fang Min for the last match. She just left lobby, so again, it's going momentarily. So, you know, kind of looking at everything all considered, we're thinking S tier coming in. Different topic though. I have some questions. We talked about Scourge Hook. Obviously, there's 2 more perks being added to the game with the Hellraiser DLC. Obviously not available in comp right now, but what are your thoughts on Deadlock and Plaything?
I think, honestly, Deadlock, I don't know if I'll see that a lot. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Also, Plaything's interesting, you know, having to have your own little totem. It makes for an interesting game. I haven't ran a lot into Plaything, even as a survivor against Mr. Pinhead, but I'm not sure. It does bring a little bit of a mini game to Dead by Daylight, you know, having to cleanse your own little totem that no one else can see except for you. But not too sure about that. Scourge Hook, 100%. I see it as a good add-on for comp.
Yeah, for comp, I definitely agree with you. Scourge Hook's kind of the way to go. It's unfortunate that we can't pick our tiers, so there's no other perk that would require you to. Deadlock 1, I actually did a video of this, a quick 60-second video explaining why Deadlock 1 is better than Deadlock 3, and I have committed to not getting Deadlock 3 on any of my killers. And it feels like back in the day with Legion and Disco, where Disco was a similar way, where you wanted Disco 1 over Disco 3. I think Deadlock's the same exact way. 20-second gen block versus 30-second is huge. It is 10 seconds, but it goes a long way, especially if you are using Pop Goes the Weasel. Otherwise, you really do have to use things like Eruption or Surge to, you know, regress gens through the blockage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be used more, and I'm looking forward to it because it is one of those perks that can snowball things, you know, and that's awesome to see.
Yeah, I guess the question is, so here's my thoughts. So when I'm looking at Deadlock, I'm thinking, well, this is a Tinkerer replacement. What do you think? Can Deadlock be as good as Tinkerer if we're looking at Deadlock 1, 20 seconds versus Deadlock 3?
I think it'd be a replacement. I would have to get some used to, you know. Tinker's just so good, though.
It is. I mean,
no, it's just so good.
It is. I 100% agree. We saw that in my Freddy match just a little while ago where, you know, I was in chase, Tinker goes off, comms aren't going right, and I sneak up to someone and grab them right off the gen because of Tinkerer. You know, I think on certain killers like Freddy, like Blight, I think Tinker is just a auto-include. I know some people fight me on that and say, well, you don't need Tinker. I'm like, yeah, but if I have Tinker, it's that much better. But other killers, I think, could still use Deadlock really well, and as long as you have that Pop Goes Weasel in hand, then you're just able to really put on the pressure and go, oh, that gen is 70%, cool, Pop Goes the Weasel, down 20 seconds, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, can we go back to the fact that Freddy on Tinker on Freddy, sorry, is just, I still think it's one of the best, like the funnest thing ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's just so good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, my pubs build is always Barbecue, Ruin, Pop, Tinkerer. And I love Barbecue. Sometimes I'll switch out Ruin for Devour because you're just able to get a hook, get the gen regressed, teleport away, go get Devour, and you're already on 3 stacks, and there's like, what do we do against this? Like, you cleanse the Devour. That's about it.
Yeah, that's all you can do is pray and hope you can cleanse Devour and hide somewhere safe, man.
Yeah, I mean, that is the long and short of it, realistically speaking, ain't it? And same thing goes with Blight, right? Blight Tinker is just also so good because he's able to just get from one side of the map to the other so quickly and just punish survivors, especially if Ruin is up.
They're just, I mean, Blight with Tinker is just almost unfair. You like the fact that Blight can run around so quickly from one side of the map to the other and use Tinker as a way to just control, you know, the gens is beautiful and scary. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm interested. I don't think Deadlock's gonna replace Tinker on those 2 killers.
Yeah,
I think
no.
that if you're thinking of Tinkerer on killers that don't have that same type of mobility, I think that's where Deadlock might arguably be better. Because if you're playing Tinkerer on, let's say, who's a 115 M1 with no mobility, let's say Doctor, are you really going to be able to get to that gen in time with Tinkerer? Sometimes yes, most times no. So what's better, losing that gen and knowing where the next best gen is to pop? And you either get 1 or 2 bits of information. Oh, that gen's at 70 and I need to pop it right now. Or that gen's at 0. Oh, no other gens are anywhere near complete. I think that's one of the things people are missing out on Deadlock, is that it gives you 2 types of information. Even if the gen is not at 50%, 70%, let's say it's just been tapped or nothing at all, and it's blocked off, you go, oh cool, I can relax.
Absolutely. It gives you a lot of information. And like you said, on those killers that are, you know, your M1 type killers, it's going to look good on them because you literally can go, okay, cool. I'm okay. I don't have to get to that gen, but I know that gen was done.
Yep. Exactly. So I really do like Deadlock in pubs. It's just unfortunate that I feel like Behavior made the same mistake that they made with Disco and made a perk with 0 cooldown and with the length of time for the blockage to be longer than shorter. I mean, hell, Thrilling Tremors at time can sometimes screw you over if Pop goes to Weasel. You pick them up, you get them onto a hook immediately, now you're waiting out a gen for 6 seconds going, alright, you gonna be unblocked yet?
Yeah, absolutely, yep. Thrilling Tremors can be used like that. It is really funny to watch that.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see what comes of Deadlock, how people use it. As far as Plaything, I have to say, one of my funnest experiences when I was leveling up the Cena by AK Pinhead was 110% using Plaything Retribution. Oh, so much fun.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm gonna have to watch that. That is hilarious. I have not seen a Plaything Retribution.
It's so good.
That's
You just
awesome.
get Retribution trigger after Retribution trigger after Retribution trigger, and you're like, ah, cool, I know where everyone is. And during that time, let's say you have everyone hit with Plaything, 1 person cleanses, and the other 3 don't, and you see where all their auras are. Guess what? They are oblivious, so they don't hear your tear radius. So you just sneak up on them. They're like, the fresh what?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to watch it. That sounds, honestly, I'm laughing because I think it sounds fun.
It's wicked, wicked fun. It is very memey, in my opinion. But honestly, it's kind of like the same way that you used to run, like, Haunted Retribution on, like, Slinger, for example. Really fun to do, but is it great? No. Is it effective? Absolutely. So I think Plaything Retribution with 2 other perks that you're choosing, you know, go out and have a fun time.
Absolutely. That sounds like a blast. It just has to be a little bit confusing as a survivor, though.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And you have to, like, the fear gets in you, I imagine, when you see, okay, Plaything, whatever, as long as I can see where the killer is, I don't need to worry about the tear radius. And all of a sudden you go, oh shoot, Retribution. Crap.
Oh my gosh, okay. I'm gonna watch it. Gilspire, next time you're live, I'm gonna go watch this.
Well, good news is awesome. You can always request what perks I use, so definitely would be for using some Plaything Retribution. Definitely a fun time, but we are slowly but surely about to get into this match. Everyone is now in lobby, and I believe we have 3 out of the 4 survivor builds. And just waiting on one more here.
And here we go. This is like we said at the beginning after the game. It's just, you got to set the pace. You know, if you're killer, you got to set your pace. You got to make sure that you brush off what happened in game 1. And it's all about really putting your foot down, and we'll see if they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think based on what I'm seeing, I will get confirmation from Pre-Law. Are we good on builds, my friend?
We are.
Awesome. In that case, I'll be switching over to Spectator and let me know that we are good to go. So we'll be jumping right on in momentarily to trial number 2 of Division 2, Round 1. How we get here versus Immortal Alliance.
And game 2 is all about pacing. Here we go. We're gonna see if they can make it back.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's strange to think how many times there are make or break moments, but this really is, because if How Do We Get Here with as substantial of a lead as they have is able to either A, keep the lead, or B, strengthen their lead by getting a 4-man out, the game is really close to over for Immortal Alliance, only halfway through. And, I mean, it can be very punishing for a team to go up against that. Like, is it impossible? Absolutely not. But is it improbable? Yeah, it's going to be difficult for you.
Yeah, if you drop 2 games, that sets a lot of fear. You know, I don't want to, you know, that's a big word to say, but really, you kind of have to go for the impossible on game 3, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to set yourself up for that. I know they don't. I wouldn't. You want to make sure that this game right now, you get back into the close to being even.
No, absolutely. With that being said, we're jumping right on in, and we see a Bubba.
Wow, what a surprise. Oh my goodness. We'll see. I have loved the Bubba gameplay so far, though.
Yeah, no, I'm wicked excited, and I don't know if this survivor realizes it. I don't know. That was an interesting choice. That was very interesting choice. A, Survivor. Not sure if they realize about the dying or read. Bubba going for the gen, and then Ace not throwing down the pallet.
We saw this before with one of the last Bubbas. Not throwing the pallet down caused them to. Well, I mean, they had 100 rounds, right? But it caused a down. And then it kind of snowballed from there. And oh my goodness gracious. Here we go.
Yeah, some very risky plays here. And, you know, I think this is a good example how Do We Get Here still a bit newer to comp play. Yeah, they're waiting out and trying to set up for the unhook. But Bubba being smart and just kind of taking a look and going, okay, you know, let's double check and make sure no one's over here. And they're able to now secure 2 hooks very close together. And I hope the hell that Sapphire has BT, because they are going to need it.
That was it, yeah. Right there and then against the Bubba. Someone's going down, Guildspire. Someone will go on, and that's exactly what just happened.
Yeah, no, exactly. So this is going to be a tricky situation for How to Get Here to get out of. If it's one person on hook, Bubba's came, that's one thing. You can get some gens done. But with 2 people back-to-back like this, you're in a world of hurt.
Absolutely. Now, Bubba, I mean, you have 3 people right here, right now, that they're working with. The hook, the Steve, and you have this beautiful man right here about to go down, I think.
I mean, it's going to be close. I think they're going to need to use Shack Pallet, no doubt about that. And honestly, I'm fine with people throwing pallets early against Bubba if it comes down to it. I am, however, surprised that Bubba's not using their chainsaw dash as frequently as I think they should be. And also surprised to see Ace here not healed and on a gen. I mean, Ruin is still up. They're still injured. Like, if you have to leave, you need to leave that gen and understand that, hey, Bubba's a killer that you need to respect tear radius on.
Absolutely. Being able to chase somebody down and find their teammate who's hurt and go after them. Like with Bubba, it's just a world of hurt.
Oh yeah, it's so much good value. You're on the Atom. It's kind of not a great chase. It's not going in your favor. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, look at that, piece of candy.
Basically, yeah, a squirrel, bam.
Exactly. And really cheeky attempt for a hit there on the Steve, but no dice, and we do hear Bamboozle in play. Question is, do they get the pallet? And they do, and get the stun on top of which.
Wow, that stun is it hurts my heart with Bubba.
Yeah, it's one of those things with Bubba, you know, you want to challenge hit validation, right? You want to see, like, can I get that through the pallet? Can I get that through the pallet? And if you do, amazing. But if you don't, honestly, I just take the pallet break and call it a day.
Absolutely. And this is a good. Bubba's in a good spot right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, 4 hooks in on 0 gens done. You're feeling very good, and you find Ace again. You're going, oh yeah, Ace. You know, you've been on hook 2 times. Let's kill you off, shall we?
Poor Ace, the worst luck right now in this game. Having to go against Bubba. Look at their face in there.
Yeah,
Says,
I think in this case it really just comes down to callouts, right? Knowing where Bubba is, knowing where Ace is, and finding good spots to reset. I think those are really important things that survivors tend to overlook. Is okay, here's what we do in the best case scenario. What do we do in the worst case scenario, though? Yeah, really good call there by Bubba, as we were able to kind of see, okay, do I go for the tantrum down? And I think here, there's no brainer. You have the distance to work with. Arguably, could have gone for a bamboozle play and secured it that way, but I think this was just good enough.
What are your feelings of this basement, though? I would have gone hill.
Honestly, basement, Bubba, with no pallet in sight, you're in trouble. Like, yeah, BT.
Yeah, you're right.
But, like, I think this is a good example, kind of like what we saw of Huntress of, okay, what do you do now, right?
Absolutely. Now, 2 people in a gen.
Yeah, really good stuff here. And looks like they're not even bothering to slug out. They're like, okay, you go get the basement hook. I want this 12-hook game, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, did that gen just pop?
Yeah, Gen just popped surprisingly. Giraffe saying, you know, let's get another Gen. Which, to be fair, if we're looking at the grand scheme of things, we're expecting Bubba to win this. Might not be a bad play. Alternatively, there is that possibility that Adam has Deliverance. Maybe we could see that, but I'm seeing the timer go down faster and faster, so no Deliverance. Attempt that Kobe instead. And I get a feeling Giraffe is going to go down here, and does.
This was a masterclass in Bubba action. Those Bamboozle and Bubba is. We talked about this when we did our first games. We were surprised by Bubba not having Bamboozle, and now we see Bamboozle and Bubba makes a world of difference.
No, 110%. There's no doubt about it. And so it is really going to be punishing for how do we get here in this situation. I think it is pretty much has tied up the game. Both sides pretty much in the same exact position, all things considered, points-wise.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how many points they got, but this is actually a beautiful, way to come back in the second game. He's going, hey, you know what? Let's throw out something different. Let's throw out Bubba, and we're going to show you what we're made of. And Lil did it. Hey, that was an awesome Bubba match. Wow, I am speechless right now.
Yeah, no, 110%. So after that, we're looking at 5 points to How Do We Get Here and 43 points to Immortal Alliance with a total score of 52-51. We are 1 point away from one another going into trial number 3.
I love this. Yes, basically deadlock. Here we go. Trial 3. Gonna be very important for both sides. Oof, this is good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really, really good. It's going to be a very tight match, so I'm very excited in that regard.
And you love doing, like, this is what I love. It just deadlocks, deadlocks and being able to basically every match counts for how, the end game. And seeing these 2 teams being deadlocked is beautiful.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, these type of matches where they are so close together is really exciting to say the least. So I'm very excited to see what Immortal Alliance brings to the table this round to, widen their gap, right? Like this is their moment. This is their moment to widen the gap and to really apply pressure going into round number 4 where, How Do We Get Here now has to make a choice. Okay, who do we bring? Are we going to bring out the S and A tiers, or we're going to stick with, the D, C, and B?
Right, both teams went with their B players, right? B+. And now it's like, do you bring out the big guns or do you stay the course to the end game? I'm excited because this is Legion and Bubba Ghostfire. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I think, we're seeing, 1B, 1D tier, and now we're ending up with, I'm going to say, I don't think there's any situation where we don't see an A tier to kind of close this out.
Yeah, maybe Deathslinger. I'm not sure. We'll someone that can just close out game, do their thing, and then leave. You want to? I don't know.
I would love to see another Deathslinger. I really would.
I love Deathslinger competitive gameplay. It's beautiful. I am not the best Deathslinger out there, but when I watch people play Deathslinger the way it is in comp, it is wow, speechless moment because I would love to do some of the things they do.
Yeah, no, I think this map is going to be great for another Huntress. We've seen Huntress multiple times now, but I would love to see Slinger on this map too. Like we said before, and we talked about, is that those really low tiles are going to be very difficult for survivors to work around with Slinger, and even more difficult to work around than they would otherwise, against the Huntress, where Huntress is not able to be right up on, the truck and get a hit. She's going to hit that object, versus Slinger's going to say, I don't really care about what's in front of me. As long as I can see you, then you die.
Yeah, absolutely. The Slinger doesn't give anything about it, about objects and stuff. He's just out here trying to kill you. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, Huntress is...
And just a heads up, unfortunately, it looks like my Discord decided to take a quick break. I do apologize about that, guys. So I'll be trying to fix that momentarily with the audio fixes as we get into this next round. If someone could quickly let Gannicus know, that would be much appreciated. With that being said, we are still waiting for the lobby with Ocean. And we'll be getting into this match momentarily for trial number 3. Let me also fix my camera as well before I do forget. For those who don't know, it's a little bit of a meme for my community, where unfortunately my drivers tend to go out, and when that happens, it can go a little bit awry. So apologies about that, but appreciate you guys being patient in that regard and understanding as well. I promise we'll get Gannicus back in here momentarily as we are getting this lobby set up. But it does appear that Ocean is going to be the one killing here today, and we already have some How Do We Get Here members in lobby, so good news there. And let's see if we can fix Discord and get Gannicus back on some audio in the meanwhile. So let's see what we can do if some... Maybe not. There was a fix, and there wasn't. Good stuff.
He's looking into it, Gannicus.
All right, let's see. Is it working now? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There we go. Yeah, unfortunately, my drivers sometimes, they overheat a bit, and they go, we want to stop working now.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. I love talking to myself, but I'd rather talk to you.
No, we're good. Yeah, in those moments, it's gonna be a bit of a quick solo cast, but we got it all fixed up. We got Gannicus back here, and even better yet, we got the lobby jumping on in as we speak. What's the score so far? I see chat asking. Right now, the score is 52 points to Immortal Alliance and 51 points to How Do We Get Here. So a very, very close match. Only a 1-point difference, so it's anyone's game as we speak.
Yeah, this is going into game 3. You love these kinds of situations because you want to see what teams bring out, right? What killer brings out? What's the motivation right now for your survivor team? What's your call outs? What can you how do you win? If you're a survivor team right now, if you're the survivor team, how do you win? And that is literally making sure that you get what we talked about. Your comms are on point, your call outs are on point, and making sure that you have a great game. And if that doesn't happen, then you can be in quite a bit of horrible play. So we're gonna get ready for a very, very good situation right now. A very good game.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping that How Do We Get Here learned some mistakes last round, where they kind of are able to say, okay, we see what we did wrong. And we're going to play it a little bit more safe in comparison to what we did, because, you know, there's a lot of, I think, very simple mistakes, but I would say for, you know, not being dismissive, but rookie mistakes, right? You know, going for setups in bad places, ending up getting caught out by the Bubba, and realizing that, hey, you want to set up for the unhook. At the same time, while someone's getting in chase, everyone should be on gens and, like, spread out away from that person. That way, Bubba doesn't turn the corner and go, oh, hey, look, another survivor.
Yeah, and that's really what made the difference last game with Bubba is the fact that he was just a little zone, right? He didn't have to venture out in corners. He literally all the Bubba was feeding right there and then, and that's really helped out Bubba a lot. And those are call outs that, you know, maybe as time goes by, get better, right? With your team and your teammates and things like that, but also in the moment, right? Are you ready to make those calls out? Are you ready to be able to be chased and also let your teammates know exactly where the killer is at or where they're going? It can be a pressure situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No doubt about that. And so if that being said, you know, I'm very curious to see what Ocean is bringing. So for those who don't know, Ocean was actually formerly on Undyne Alliance, and basically as they have branched off into, you know, the major league team Undyne Alliance and the minor league team Immortal Alliance, it's going to be interesting to see Ocean come into play because they know what they're doing. So, you know, where we saw Bubba do a really good job, and for all intents and purposes, as far as I'm aware, a newer Bubba to comp Ocean being a comp veteran. I'm very excited to see what they bring to the table and if they're able to really put the pressure on how do we get here going into trial number 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like, you know, as Ocean being killer, someone who has experience, that's going to serve a lot. But also, if you're the survivors, you know, you just lost your second game, right? You just gave up your lead, and now you're surviving again, correct? So can you get out this time?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the case. I think ideally for both survivors and killers alike, the best case scenario is going to be going for, at the very minimum, a 2-man out to keep it even. Like, if you're a killer and you're not able to really claim any pressure, keep it even on that 2K 6 hook. If you're survivors and you feel like that's all you can get, then take what you can get, right? And try and keep it even going into trial number 4, where your killer is really going to be able to determine the outcome. Not to put the pressure on them, but that's the long and short of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're absolutely right. Just try to keep it even because you know you have one more round, right? One more round that can make the difference because you're going to be killing next. So, yeah, absolutely. They got a little bit of pressure as survivors. I mean, I don't know, man. Losing that second game is always tough.
Absolutely, absolutely. But with that being said, I did look over the builds real quick. Just want to confirm from Prelosito, are we good to go on builds?
We are on builds. I'm just checking to make sure that the map is correct.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. So,
this right here, oof, I'm excited. Game 3s that are so close, it's always fun to see, you know, what happens next, right? What's the chess piece that you move, you know? And it'll be interesting to see if they go, you know, Ocean goes for an S tier killer right here and there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So with that being said, you know, I'm very curious to see what comes out of this. We talked about Grim Pantry before, where, you know, it's good for some, but not for others. Bubba specifically being not that great on, as we saw with the Object of Depression match, where sometimes that elevation can really trip you up. Same thing happens with Doctor, same thing happens with Pyramid Head, and others like them. So it'll be interesting to see what killer they bring to the table and what they decide to go with here. You know, if they were to bring a killer, what would be your guesses?
The strat right now, if you are looking just to end game, I'd say you bring Nurse. That's if you're trying to put fear into the heart right now, you just go straight for the throat. But we haven't seen any really S tier level killers right now from both teams. So do you stay the course and go maybe a Deathslinger, maybe someone that can control the area a little bit more? What about you?
It's hard to say because on one hand, I agree with you, if you want to go for the throat, bring the S tier. At the same time, it does bring that consideration. Well, you can only use them twice, right? One thing that Sample Text and I took away with was, hey, we got Regicide to use a nurse against us. Well, we didn't use an S tier. And we knew that was going to be a hard match to begin with. So, like, getting that out of them is like, cool. That actually is good news in a way because that weakens them for future matches. So you have to think not just in immediate, but in the future as well as, will you need that nurse against the Regicides of the world, of the Object of Deception, Cerebral Assassins, and so on? Will you feel the pressure losing that otherwise?
Yeah, maybe Hunters as well, too, if you're not looking to feel the pressure for later on.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are on in, and we are on the Grim Pantry, and it is an Oni.
Oh, man, an Oni. Here we go.
So, what are your thoughts in this situation? Is Oni the way to go?
I don't know if I would have played Oni, but one thing I will say about Oni, just playing him, is just snowballs can happen, right?
Yeah.
You can become super quick, super fast, quickly, and we just great start to Oni right now.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that at first hit's going to mean a whole lot. And the thing is the question that becomes, do you go for the first chase where you're trying to get that immediate down, or do you drop chase and try and go for a second survivor where you can get your full power? Because at the end of the day, otherwise, Oni's an M1 115, right?
Absolutely. One thing that separates the great Onis from the good Onis is being able to just get your power quickly and put a lot of pressure on the whole map.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say I do like the Ace's play here. Go to main, drop chase of Oni. What I will say is these survivors need to respect Terror Radius. There are just certain killers where you have to. Bubba's a great example. Oni is very similar in that regard because you just don't want to give Oni downs.
Yeah, and we see it right there. We talk about respect the Terror Radius. I don't know if that was the right play right there. Because now Oni has a down. They're about to go into their frenzy. Oof, there we go.
Yeah, it's now going to come down to whether or not these survivors are going to be able to burn out the wrath from Oni. Because that's really where Oni suffers, and I am a little bit surprised to see a instant wrath from Oni.
Yeah, I might have got a little bit closer, but they have Tinker. We'll see what happens. Here we go.
Yeah, it's strange to me to do so because by the time that you get to the survivors, you're ending up losing a lot of good distance and a lot of good time. If you're able to confirm this down here, that'd be fantastic. And to be fair, she is out in the open as we speak.
Yeah, really, I 100% agree with you on hey, if you get there from that far away from your power, you've lost a little bit more than you should. That's 100% true. But this down. That helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact of the matter is that follow-up hit right there, and we said it before and I'll say it again, do not camp pallets. Do not take that risk. And the fact of the matter is that Oni prior had half their power to make up, and now it's ready to go. And so if he gets it down here, grabs some blood orbs, he's going to be able to pressure these survivors without any hesitation.
And that's the thing is you have to respect Oni for that. Like if you're going to do a gen that close to Oni, you have to understand that Oni's gonna get their power back, and you're in a world of hurt. That Terror Radius is there for you, for Oni, and it doesn't serve you well as a survivor, not at all.
Exactly. One of the big things as well, even if Tinker Up, unlike some other killers where their power's activation sound goes away, Oni is not one of them. It's still a map-wide activation noise once he goes into Wrath. So knowing, ideally based on comms, that Oni has Tinkerer, that is going to be a really big thing. And where you go, okay, Tinkerer, Oni, I need to jump off this gen and waste as much time as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you know you're at 70%, you kind of know where they're going, right? You got to know where Oni's going. He ain't going to another gen. He's coming for you.
Yeah, what is surprising here, though, is seeing Oni try and go for a follow-up down. This is going to burn more than half of their power, in which if I'm looking at Oni, I'm looking at it and going, hey, I want to only use about half, but at the same time, Simple just, not respecting Oni enough to run the T wall, instead tries to wait it out and tries to hide it out. As much as hiding can be beneficial, it ain't a great idea when the Oni's already on your tail.
Absolutely, you gotta respect Oni for what they are, and that is a machine when it comes to getting people with his power up. Like, you just we'll see what happens, but this Oni's having a lot of good pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this in this scenario. We do note that Adam did not actually get hooked, so Oni really used a full power for one hook. That is actually a pretty bad trade, all things considered.
Yeah, when that is 100% truth right there. Not the best trade in the world, actually a bad one. We'll see, because now you don't have them on hook, and we'll see if they can make it up.
Yeah, and Ocean getting kind of faked out there, wondering if maybe there was a 360, and Giraffe does end up making it to the other side of that loop. And Ocean here committing to the chase, and Giraffe just kind of taking them away, you know, not really fearing it, as gens are going to pop in the meanwhile, as we do see Tinker go off.
Yeah, the thing about it is Giraffe, great play. You know, getting basically into the corner, letting their team reset, do the gens, everything. That's a nightmare.
And a 110%. And so that there will be the 5th hook for the Oni at this moment in time. Firecracker, Black Claudette, but, you know, as much as I like Firecrackers, I like the flashbangs. They are really good off a pallet drop because they can blind them on the break, or good for a cheeky attempt at a save. But, like, using them just before chase there, it's just not a good idea.
And we're seeing, you know, the OP play of a slug and a hook right next to each other, right? This is paradise right now for the killer, because they've cut the battlefield in half. You know, the map is in half. They have their 2 people here, and now it's daring. Hey, do you want to unhook him that bad, or are you gonna do the gens?
I mean, it's not just that, but that gen on Pier was 70%, as we saw of Tinkerer. And so, you know, they're getting gen regression. They're going to get a progression here on Giraffe, though looks like they did opt to finish out the gen, so daring move, which did pay off. And Oni not going for the pickup on Simple, or even going back for the pickup. Instead, opting to go for the Tinker play, which these survivors should be keen on, but may have overstayed their welcome.
Yeah, honestly, great play. Who was that? Sexy Bubba that did the gen and picked up Simple Man?
Yep.
Yeah, that was good. That was awesome. That, you know, we had our Oni. Ocean just laid out the kill. They were able to pop the gen and bring the teammate back. Good stuff. You love to see that kind of play.
Yeah, like, all up, good plays there. Just, I think that the survivors are just being too aggressive on generators, and they're paying for it when Oni's using his power, right? You know, he's able to just apply so much pressure so quickly. And as soon as you hit 70, if Oni has his power, you need to go, oh, I need to jump off this gen and go somewhere else just momentarily or long enough that, you know, the power's going to get burned out.
Absolutely. And we talked about this just barely, is, hey, you don't... You want him to waste the power, and right now, it's not. Right now, we got another hook.
Yeah, we get the grab. There's the hook state. They're going to confirm kill on Omega Lol here, Adam, and, you know, then just set up Simple for a hook thereafter. I mean, they're in a very, very dangerous position, to say the least.
The slug hook combo is beautiful, because there's just really nothing else you can do as a survivor. Try to bide some time, but really, you know, as a killer. Though. That was a little cheeky play right there.
Yeah, looks like just took a little bit too long between the drop and the distance, and does not get the hook on Simple, which will give Sexy Bubba some time to get on gens. Unfortunately, the team not calling out that 2 stories. Pallets have already been dropped. And Ocean losing Simple there for a hot moment.
That's a good little 360 right there. I mean, he cuts him a little bit more time, and at this point, you gotta look for Hatch, right?
Yep.
You know, Oni's going to be around here, and I mean, but Tinker.
The Tinker is painful, and like I say, you just need to respect it. The good news is here for this ace is that Oni does not have his power primed. So good news there, but bad news overall, you're not going to get that gen.
Absolutely, you're not gonna get that gen, and basically because you're the last one alive, you know, Oni's just gonna keep chasing you until you die.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm simple here, I'm suiciding on hook and attempting to allow Ace here Hatch escape. And funny thing we say that because Hatch is right here.
It's right there.
And just not enough time to make it work.
Do you think they knew Hatch was there the whole time?
I don't think they did, honestly. And so I think it was a misplay on their part. They do opt to drop Ace instead of going for the hook, maybe looking at the distance between those hooks and going, I'm not feeling comfortable here. Let's not push it.
Absolutely, I was gonna say I don't know if they make it to this. This is a good play though because you close Hatch so that way they don't have to. They can't get there if they're if they get out of your hands, and now you can pick them up, try to make it, and if they don't make it, you can slug them out again. You know.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So smart play by Oni, getting that person, getting Sexy Bubba down and then closing Hatch. Really smart play. You don't want to get that cheeky play of them getting out of, wiggling out and then getting the Hatch. That would have been. I mean, it'd be cool to see, but at the same time, as a killer, that would hurt my heart.
Oh yeah, that would be heartbreaking for them. And just like we said, I think maybe if they committed to it, they'd probably get to it. But, better safe than sorry here. And now this is more or less just for the sake of the chase, right? There's no way that Ace gets out at this point in time.
Absolutely not. At this point, you're just trying to make it a little bit longer and have him not hook you and see if you can make it the full timer. But Oni's just he's just gonna come around and slap you real quick.
Yeah, it sounds about right. And with that being said, we do see the down on the Ace. Maybe going over to the XDK going, Oni, please, let me out.
You know Oni's not gonna do that.
No doubts about that. And that there will result in a second hook and a progression for the A's. And so we are looking at a total of 9 points for the survivors and 44 points for Immortal Alliance and the Oni. Total score as of this moment, 96 IA to 60 points for How Do We Get Here. It's a 36-point game, and going into the kill round, is it impossible? Absolutely not. But it's going to be an uphill battle.
It's a great effort, to be honest with you. For next killer to set the pace back to what it was on game one when they were killing. It's not impossible, but it's gonna take a lot of work. It's just not enough respect for Oni. I don't feel like they had enough respect of the terror radius and doing gens right in the face.
Yeah.
Like that's a failure right there. Is just the fact that you can't be doing that with Oni, and it's unfortunate, but things happen, right? It's only the first go around, so things will be cleaned up. But that really hurt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if I'm looking at the score right now, it's going to be a really difficult fight for How Do We Get Here. If I'm looking at it and kind of breaking it down, we're looking at How Do We Get Here is going to have to 4K. All first hook is fine. All progressions is fine. But they need to 4K before the second gen's completed.
Yeah, it's going to be a uphill battle, but never say never, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen complete blowouts where it's, 4K on 0 gens, so it's not impossible, but it's usually done on killers like Nurse, like Spirit, killers that can really put the pressure to you very quickly. So I think that's really what's going to come down to is, can these survivors do just that? And I don't know. That is a very good question, right?
Well, absolutely. And this is where so far we've had some, your B plus A tier level killers, right?
Yep.
And if it was a closer game, I guarantee we wouldn't be seeing S tier next game. But right now, you're kind of sitting in the fence and going, okay, if we want to win this, do we do what we need to do? And that is bring out the heavy hitters, your heavy guns.
Yep. No, 110%.
So, we'll see what happens, but I really do think you bring out something powerful because it sets you up for the win, and at the same time, do you go, okay, we'll fight another day kind of thing, right? Let's not bring out anyone crazy and look to live another day. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a difficult choice. I definitely think that it is possible. It's just, it's going to be very difficult for them to accomplish it. But with that being said, we do have Denzophage as the killer for How Do We Get Here? And we'll be getting in Immortal Alliance in the lobby momentarily. So this is actually going to be our last trial of the night. You know, that is 4 matches for the day. We had everything from OOD against, let me double check and make sure I'm actually getting all the matchups correct here. We had OOD against, if I have the right category, OD against Cerebral Assassins. We had Prestige against UA, Regicide versus Sammeltext, and finally, last but not least, How Do We Get Here versus Immortal Alliance. There was a 5th match of the day, which was Cookies versus Monarchy, but their match was not streamed as they did need to reschedule and thus conflicted with the Regicide versus Sammeltext. If you guys can tell me how I can stream 2 matches at the same time, be my guest. Otherwise, well, we're gonna pick and choose.
Yeah, if we could do that, shoot, man, that would game changer right there.
Exactly. But yeah, so tomorrow, while we are waiting for this to load up, we have 3 matches being streamed. We have EMA versus Travesty, Deadheads versus We Can't Loop, and We Overslept versus Milkshake Mafia, which, unfortunately, as soon as I said it, I realized that, unfortunately, Milkshake Mafia is actually going to be forfeiting that match due to some IRL stuff going on where their team will not be able to participate. So we actually got 2 tomorrow, EMA versus Travesty at 6 p.m. CST, and Deadheads versus We Can't Loop at 8 p.m. CST. So definitely make sure to be there for those matches.
I'm really digging the variety of killers we're getting today.
100%.
You know, it's awesome to see the Legions, your Bubbas, your Onis come out and really just be beautifully played. It's super cool.
Absolutely. And real quick, before I do forget, as chat is asking, the score right now, as of this moment, is 96 points to Immortal Alliance, to 60 points for How Do We Get Here. At this moment in time, How Do We Get Here is going to need a 4K. All progressions are okay, but before the second generator is done. So it's going to be an uphill battle. But let's see. You never know, right?
Absolutely. You never know. It's like we said, it's difficult, but it's not impossible, and that's what they need to be saying to themselves right now too. Is say, hey, we still got this. We're still in the game. We just have to have a really, really great match, and they've done it before. So, wasn't that? Correct me if I'm wrong. That Legion game,
yeah,
was a perfect example of that, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you look back at that Legion game, the very first one, that was 3 gens. With 4K for Legion, so I mean, it's definitely possible, and if you're bringing in someone that's better than Legion and able to really show it in a similar light, I think it's possible to get the 4K without a single gen being done.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if Legion could do it, which it beautifully played, if they can have a killer that's a little bit better than Legion come out and just do their thing, then they're good. They're sitting pretty. Now that's not, and it's easier said than done. Right? But I'm looking forward to it.
And 110%. With that being said, I believe we're finalizing the builds real quick. See a quick change of roster from Lee to Ocean for Survivor, or someone left for Ocean, I think. So I think we'll have to just confirm the build real quick. Otherwise, I believe, Prilasito, you were unmuting to let us know that they're good to go.
Yeah, I was until that happened.
Exactly. So Ocean's dropping on in here, and will be acting as the 4th survivor. And we do have one last prediction. I forgot to do one last one. To be fair, I messed up the one prior where I clicked the wrong button, so apologies on that one. But with that being said, once we confirm Ocean's build, we should be good to go for the final trial of How Do We Get Here versus Immortal Alliance. Wicked exciting. And I really appreciate all you being here for today. We had, during sample text and regicide, I heard from my host that you guys got a level 5 hype train on stream. So, wicked excited about that, and thank you all. For those who are not aware, all of your viewership, all of your subs, all of your bit donations or tips are going to be going towards the prize pool. If you want an exact breakdown of how much money goes where, you can actually check that out over on the Discord, which is !Discord, for that full prize pool breakdown. Basically, for every sub, it is $1 to the prize pool. For every bit, 50% goes to the prize pool, and 100% of the ad revenue, guys, does go to the prize pool as well. So your viewership is really supporting the players, not just the stream. So make sure that if you have other communities of your own, if you're a streamer, make sure they're here. If you know people who would love to watch, make sure to let them know. And let's get COTF partnered by the end of season 2. I think or season 1 rather. I think it's definitely possible.
Absolutely, that's the goal, and I think as we keep growing and getting more people in here, it's those goals will be accomplished. It's beautiful to see, though.
100%. And just want to confirm, Prelaw, are we good on Ocean's build?
We are.
Awesome. In that case, let's switch on over and give them the go-ahead. We are good to go for trial number 4 of How Do We Get Here versus Immortal Alliance.
And here we go. This is game 4.
So, what are your thoughts?
Shake it off.
What are your thoughts? We've gone through what they need to do. We've talked about, you need to go out swinging. What's your guess? What are your guess out of the S tiers or A tiers that they are going to bring in this situation?
Here's the thing. I keep being surprised. I keep being surprised. Like we keep saying back and forth, like, hey man, they need to bring someone crazy. But honestly, right now, I think they stay the course. I think they might bring someone better than Legion. I don't know. I still think that your Death Slingers out there, your Huntress is out there. If not those two, I mean, we could see maybe a Doctor. I'm not too sure. What about you?
Doctor, I have a love-hate relationship with Doctor. I remember running Doctor back in Vigo's court and felt very good. And then as I started playing Comp more and more, I'm like, man, Doctor is really just an M1 115 killer. Like, yeah, he has the ability
Absolutely.
to really shut down anti-loop, but as his Virus have no fear and they just keep on running, you're kind of just caught out in the middle and going, oh shoot, this really does nothing, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one downfall of Doctor, is if you got survivors who know how to play against Doctor, he just becomes a spectator.
Yeah, no, seriously. I'll always remember the day. I think I went, it was Doctor versus CDM at the time. And, man, it was punishing. It was just pallet drop after pallet drop. I'm like, I can't do anything. It's like they just pre-drop and going, okay, eat another pallet, eat another pallet. It's like playing a game of Pac-Man at that point.
Absolutely. I'm just going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say they bring out Hag, okay?
Hag. Ooh, Hag on her own map. I don't know. I always, I traditionally look at Hag on Backwater Swamp and I go, man, she is not good on this map.
Right. I don't know. We've been having some wild killers and I absolutely love it. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they could go for an S tier, or they could stay the course. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, and I definitely love to see more Hag in comp, to be honest. It's definitely something that you don't see as often, because if Zavars play smart and just harass the Hag in her traps, and you're not able to really make good use of the Phantasm camera flick, it can be really punishing to play as Hag.
Oh, a miserable day as Hag. Absolutely.
But doing a quick build check here, everything is looking good at first glance. And we are jumping on in, and it is the Twins.
Awesome.
So, what are your thoughts here? We already saw one Twins match today already. Do you think Twins is what they need to confirm the 4K at 5 gens?
Twins can be. If you play Victor right, Victor can turn into a machine, right? But at the same time, you can kind of just use Victor as a backpack, right? And so it can be. You just have to get to a fast start, and right now that's the thing that our killer is looking at is just trying to get someone down quickly.
Exactly, and I think, right now we're seeing these survivors taking their time, waiting out Corrupt Intervention. Obviously we're seeing some Victor placement trying to ward off any work on the active generators, which is smart. Though, they need to find a survivor ASAP. And unless they are able to, I don't think this game's going to go in their favor. Because, like I said, all they need is 2 gens, and that's about it.
And that's the truth. And that's where, playing Twins is a high risk, high reward. Because if you can't find a survivor right now, it's not looking good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, though, if we're looking at, close matches, once again, Sample Text versus Regicide earlier, we waited out entire Corrupt Intervention, didn't do us much good as we could not find Ruin. And Twins here does lose a totem, and in this case it was Ruin, but does get a good pounce on the Feng Min, but opts to go for Yui instead.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one because, like we said before, you just keep Victor on you the whole time. It can also be a bad news for our Twins player.
Yeah, on one hand, I guess, as you mentioned, they're not able to be on gens, and you can now recall them at your leisure. On the other hand, you're in this really awkward scenario to where you want those gens done quick. But surprisingly, not going for the injured survivor Victor, but instead going for the person on gen. I mean, I can understand that if you had some form of gen regression, right? Looking at, Ruin, which was up prior, or Pop for a down later, but you really don't have much going for you in this moment, so I think the downs are what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. You need as many downs as you can. Now, I will say, hitting that player off the generator felt good for them, but right now you gotta get people on hook. You gotta make sure you gotta put pressure on the survivors to get the hook, get them back out of the hook. So we'll see what happens. A little bit slower start than I guarantee they wanted to see, but getting this hook. And then there goes a gen pop right there. So.
Yep. First gen, first hook, and now the pressure really is on DenzoPhage here. As the moment that these survivors get 1 gen, I mean, at that point, they can pretty much just say, all right, hook me, suicide out, and call it a day, though I do hope that they play it out in full. I always do love watching a full comp match. You can take the knee if you want, but I don't think in this case it's even necessary. Just get some practice in at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. If another gen pops, you're just making sure that you just play the best game you can.
Exactly. And to remind everyone, you're going to hear a lot of gen sounds going off when we switch between Victor and Charlotte. It is a current audio bug, so don't get confused.
That is always funny to hear, actually, the little back and forth. You think gens are popping. So it always makes me laugh.
I'm so glad that DenzoPhage can't hear that, because man, that would be frustrating. It's just a new sound that Twins has when they switch between the two. You just hear a bell, and it's just like, ding. Though that one,
Can you imagine?
That one, on the other hand, was actually real, so that will be the 2nd gen, and unfortunately for How Do We Get Here will be the nail in their coffin. Even if they get a 4K here, there might be a scenario, but any gens thereafter, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. At this point, your best bet, just to make it close, or seeing if you can try to get a win, is no more gens. And unfortunately, having 3 people still alive, just cranking gens out, it's gonna be hard.
110%. I swear, though, every time I switch over to Victor, I have to look back at the bottom left-hand corner because I'm like, wait, did a gen get done? Because I'm keeping track of the score all the while commentating. So I was like, wait, what happened?
Oh, and that is a costly jump right there. Losing Victor with somebody hurt like that.
Yeah.
That could have made a difference.
It definitely is punishing in those moments, and it's where you really do need to be patient and not let the pressure get to you in those times where you're able to go, okay, I'm going to use Victor, I'm going to take my time, though. I think that's what a lot of people do fail to realize, that you just need to take your time and ensure that you get that hit and, confirm the down, because if you don't do so, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt later.
Yep, you You really are. Patience and is key to playing Victor. 2 gens left though, so we'll see. We gotta get some downs. Real
So
quick.
I'm getting told, by the way, the killers do hear the gen pop sounds.
Oh my goodness, that makes me so sad.
I will refuse to play twins. I refuse, as of this moment, to play twins until that's fixed, because that is miserable. You just continuously hear gen pop out of gen pop, and a little tip for you twins mains out there, do not try and pounce on a slope surface. Pouncing up the slope, just as bad as pouncing down the slope. Down, you can overshoot. Up, you actually will not gain as much distance as you expect you would.
Yeah, we just saw it right there. That was costly for them for getting that down. Right now, though, we still got survivors injured. They're not resetting. They're just trying to basically waste as much time with twins as they can. And they're doing a really good job right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they're slowing down the match, that is for sure. And they are able to secure it down on Ocean. Honestly, with the way that the game's going, I would go for these other injured survivors and try and confirm some more slugs. And they do exactly that.
Absolutely.
Really good play.
Beautiful play right there. Like you were just saying, you're close to ending the game. You slug this thing out. You get as many kills as you can, and make their life just harder.
Yeah, exactly. Slow down the match, you know, try and reclaim some pressure. You know, at this point, you're not playing for the win, you're playing for pride, you're playing for practice. And, you know, saying a quick hi to Victor. Just a quick hello.
I always said I gotta say hi to Victor out there. You know, make sure, put the respects on Victor's name.
So, here's the interesting thing. We've realized Ruin is gone, we see no pop. What else is this killer using? That's the biggest thing that I'm right now questioning, and I imagine a lot of people over on the stream are also asking is, what else are they using? No secondary gen regression. In comp, you know, what are your thoughts there? Is having no secondary gen regression, whether that be Undyne or Pop as backup, or just something else entirely, you know, is that a smart play?
It's a gutsy play, you know, because once Ruin's gone, if you don't have Pop or some type of gen regression, you're basically saying, okay, I'm going to try to kill all of you, you know, ASAP. And that can go wrong, you know, because if you're not slowing anything down like right now, these survivors just stay on the gen and have a wonderful little time. A stroll down, you know, the little beaches over here. So
I will say, though, kind of interesting scenario there. You know, they get the unhook, right? But since Nia's the only one not injured, that allows Denzophage to go, oh, the person on the unhook, they're injured. I can go for a down and a rehook really quickly here.
yeah, and that was a good call, because now you just hook them, you basically say almost good night. You can see where everybody's at by Victor, and this is a good little strategy right now. There's 3 people around him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad setup. I think is it a 3-gen or a 2-gen? I can't really tell in this situation, to be honest. But it's looking like a 3-gen here. We have one up by Shaq, we have one there by 2-story, and one just in front of it. So, kind of a good setup for them, all things considered.
Absolutely, and this is why we talk about, hey, keep playing your game. Even though you might not be going for the win, you're still going for pride. You're still going to show that, you know, you're getting better, and you'll take a look at this film and go, okay, this is what I need to do better.
Exactly.
So
really cheeky attempt there, Victor. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
not landing that. Ooh,
and there he goes.
I questioned that right there. Yui was
Yeah.
injured. Yeah, you can try and go for a grab, but of course they're going to go for the grab cancel. I do think that, honestly, just slugging out the Yui there would have been a play, but at the same time, if we look at what happened, Yui also had adrenaline, right? So maybe that was the right play, and to go for the uninjured survivor instead. And we see something interesting. I'm not sure if you caught it.
Oh. Hold on, what are we seeing?
Did you see that the exit gate was blocked off by No Way Out?
Oh, yes, you're correct. Here we go.
So A perk we don't see all too often in comp, but honestly, I really do love the upgrades to the perk, so I can definitely see it being used more often for those who feel very weak on the early and mid game and really want to focus in on the end game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Having no way out does help your end game. I mean, of course, you'd rather not, get to end game, so that's where I can see it be kind of people not playing it, but I do feel like it's great for your end game collapsing.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a very cheeky perk and sometimes can really work to your advantage. I do want to note something here with Victor, though everyone is currently injured. If they do get down by Victor, they do have a slight Blood Warden effect. Not that that's really beneficial here, as Charlotte is way too far away. Though, if they hit the Yui, that could actually play a factor, but she does dodge and gets the escape. So that will be a 3-man out for Immortal Alliance, resulting in 38 to Immortal Alliance and 24 for the Twins. Not a bad match, all things considered, for the Twins. Pretty close, but unfortunately, that gap given to Immortal Alliance, those last 2 matches, really not giving them any room to breathe. So final scores: 134 Immortal Alliance and 84 to How Do We Get Here. Congratulations to Immortal Alliance.
Yeah, big congrats to Immortal Alliance. Played some great games. This is a good showing by both teams, and of course someone has to lose, right? But it was really fun to see these killers and these survivors out there really get strategical, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, that there will be our last match for Division 2, Round 1. And actually, the end of Round 1 altogether. So we're moving into Round 2 tomorrow with Division 1. And we're going to be starting off things strong at 6 p.m. CST. So definitely make sure to be here for that. But with that being said, Gannicus, if everyone wants to go say hi next time you're live, where can they find you?
Of course, you can find me on twitch.tv/Gannicus0_0. I'm live Monday through Friday. We love killer games. We love survivor games. We're out here just having fun. But I'm excited to be with you and keep this moving. This is so much fun, and I'm so happy to be here.
No, really happy to hear that. And with that being said, I am Mark, aka Guildspar. Not only am I your commissioner and primary host here over on Champion of the Fog, but I am an educational Dead by Daylight player, here to teach kills how to play killer, and survivors how to play against killers. So make sure to stop on by and say hi. With that being said, we will see y'all tomorrow at 6 p.m. CST. Bye-bye!